Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Headlocks and Hot Packs for another Thursday night box opening. And if you've been joining us in recent weeks, the same thing we've got for that we've done in recent weeks, we've got on the menu for tonight. It is more baseball, and we've got another set break. As you can see, 1997 Topps. 1999 is what I paid for this. This is part of the recent pickups I got from Double Play Collectibles. You can see this contains 495 cards, plus 8 randomly inserted inserts. So it'll be interesting to see what we have in there. This is looks like factory sealed. Not much info on the outside of the box, but along with Bonds, we've also got Willie Mays there on the front. And some of the inserts are like All-Stars, Awesome Impact could be found in here, I guess. And as well as a bunch of reprints from Willie Mays and Mickey Mantle. So we'll see what we got. I'm assuming those will be at the end of the box. And unlike our 06 Fleer box, these ones could very well be stuck together. Let's hope that's not the case, and oh boy. That's definitely the case, but they're somewhat coming apart. Hopefully there is no paper loss as we check out the design for those who have not seen this before. I definitely had, yeah, they're sticky. But look at all the gloss on here. There's the back. They seem to be coming apart without any paper loss. They're actually sliding right off onto the table. There is Wakefield. We'll be looking for all of the Red Sox, looking for Hall of Famers as well. There is Mariano Rivera, one of the very few cards from this set that I actually already had in the Hall of Fame side PC, which is now fully boxed up. I was working on that. I think I mentioned it when we were doing that 06 Fleer set break. But I'm wondering, I definitely had a few of these when I was younger. But, oh boy, well, we're getting through scot-free here. No issues quite yet, but this might be a marathon if I'm going to struggle like this. Good lord. Once I get them apart, they're fine, but it's just a matter of getting them apart. I'm going to have to go one by one here. There is Big Mac. But as I was saying, I definitely had some of these when I was a kid. This was around the time when I want to say I started collecting exclusively, almost skipped one, exclusively basketball, so I wasn't really buying much baseball, so I didn't really have too many of these. But again, I'm going to be looking for Red Sox. If you're new to the channel, I PC any and all Red Sox cards. That's part of the baseball collection. The Hall of Famers are like a side PC. And we're going to be looking for Ken Griffey Jr. in here, as well for the Griffey collection. Found him in 06 Fleer. And now we'll be adding a 97 Topps. He's only got one card in here. There's not really much for subsets. There's the Billy Wagner Gold Cup. He could still get into the Hall. Brad Radke, Charles Nagy. Gonna be a bunch of names that I totally forgot about. That's always the case when we're doing these throwback rips. Joe Carter, back with the Blue Jays. When did that happen? I do not remember that. There is one of the cover guys, Barry Bonds. He's not a Hall of Famer, but I do keep him in that side PC, the Hall of Famers. Along with Clemens, even though neither one of them are in the Hall, but they're just too good of players to not go in there. Just like Greg Maddux, who is in the Hall of Fame. Craig Biggio, kind of a controversial Hall of Famer, I guess you could say. A lot of people don't think he should be in. It was mostly longevity that got him in. That's how he ended up getting to 3,000 hits. There is Canseco for the Sox, Paul Molitor. The good names seem to be somewhat grouped together. Yeah, this is probably going to be a long one because that was just the first stack. We've got nearly 500 of these to go, so I'll try to make it as painless as possible, but I don't believe the cards are going to cooperate. One way that I'll make this timely is by Not switching around, there is Doc Gooden. All of the horizontal cards. There's Tommy. Again, no paper loss on anything, so very well kept box. But the gloss is just brutal, as is usually the case with mid to late 90s cards. I guess it kind of started early 90s, around like 93 was when most card designs ended up having gloss on them. Hollinsworth Gold Cup. Jeff Cirillo, yeah, lots of names I forgot about. Mark Loretta, that's really early in his career. Mike Greenwell. I didn't really remember Mike Greenwell sticking around this long. This had to be the very end here for him. Sean Dunston, most remembered with the Cubs, obviously. Brad Klontz, that's a name I haven't heard in forever. Leeritz, for all you young bucks out there, before he was a manager, he was a backstop for the Yanks. There is Jeff Conine, one of the Marlins' earlier stars in that franchise's history, along with Sheffield. There is Juan Gone. Can't remember, was 97 his MVP year? I do not recall. Mike Lieberthal. Kevin Elster. No sign of Griffey yet, and we didn't even really talk about rookies because, quite frankly, there's Reggie Jefferson for the Sox pile. Quite frankly, there are no good rookies to be found in here. All the rookies are kind of what Topps like to do at this point in time is they put multiple players on each card. So, like, some guys it's the rookie, some guys it's not. I think probably there's Piazza. Probably the most notable name that I saw on the checklist would be Eric Chavez, but I'm not even really positive. Palmeiro, I'm not even really positive if that's his actual rookie card or not. Joey Cora, and then the big hurt. Well, I guess that's a good thing I flipped that one, because the camera went out of focus. Next stack. Again, one by one here. I do promise, there is Cal, the Iron Man, and John Olerud. I do promise everybody next week we will finally get away from baseball. I did pick up some random wrestling card hanger boxes from the indoor flea market, so we will either rip that or I'll see if I can't find something else in between now and next Thursday night, just so we get a week-long baseball break, I guess. Basketball and football have been pretty hard to find, at least retail lately. It has been mostly baseball in terms of modern. I suppose I could always just order some stuff offline, but it would likely not be here by next Thursday, so regardless, either way, we will take a baseball break next week. But no breaks on this set break here. There's Bobby Witt Sr., Larry Walker. I wonder if anybody can hear that plane going directly behind me. That's what you get when you live so close to the airport. Heathcliff Slocum, part of one of the best trades for the Red Sox, but worst trades for the Mariners in their history. He was dealt to Seattle in exchange for Jason Varitek and Derek Lowe. There is Tim Raines for the Yankees. Of course, Lowe and Varitek would become very, very key parts of the Red Sox turning things around and breaking the curse, especially Lowe in 04, pitching in the game clincher, and then Varitek becoming the first team captain in decades and decades and decades. So that did not work out for Seattle. There is the crime dog. Yeah, I was hoping maybe at some point in here that they would start coming apart a little bit easier. They do somewhat, but I'm still having to basically peel each one from the other. So definitely time consuming, so go ahead and sit on back and relax as we take a look back at all of this 1997 glossy greatness. There is Joe Girardi. Joe Girardi, what was I talking about? Jim Lieritz. Actually, no, Jim Lieritz. Jim Leland? I don't even know what I'm talking about. I'm getting all my Yankee catchers mixed up. I think I might have just had a minor stroke, too. Tony Clark Gold Cup. Kurt Abbott. Stuck to Jeff Kent on the Cleveland Indians. Wow, I don't remember that at all. That had to be for an extremely short period of time. Scott Brocious, a Yankees postseason hero. That bastard. Tony Batista Gold Cup. Cliff Floyd is stuck to Marty Cordova. And then there is the unit. Randy Johnson, Rod Beck, rest in peace, and then Clemens in his last go-round with the Boston Red Sox. Jermaine Allensworth, a prospect bust from the early 90s. Jason Isringhausen, and then Cecil Fielder on the Yankees. I don't remember that at all either. Eckersley on the Cardinals? What is going on? There's a bunch of guys on teams that I do not remember them playing for at all in here. Very interesting. Moises Alou, Willie Adams. Come on, cards. Just cooperate with me. Looks like we got some prospects coming up, so you guys will get a look at what I was talking about earlier. Daryl Kyle, Klesko with... not sure who that was. Looked like McGriff and... No. Will Cordero. And Barry Larkin sliding in. And let's get a look at these prospects here. Here's David Cohn, and now draft picks. See if there's anybody of note. Oh, here we go. First Devil Rays cards, so I guess kind of previewing their opening season. There will probably be some from... who do we got in here? There's Carl Pavano. That's a name I remember. Part of another massive trade in Red Sox history. Bill Miller there. Pavano eventually got dealt to the Expos as part of the Pedro Martinez deal. Another one that worked out pretty darn well for the Bo Sox. Mark Bellhorn. Is there any Devil Rays players I recall or even recognize? Rod Barajas, Jason Conti, Mark Kotze. I remember he was kind of a big deal in this area here because at this time the Marlins AA affiliate, there's the Chavez, was the Portland Sea Dogs, which is about, I don't know, their stadium is like 10-15 minute drive if you count trying to find somewhere to park from my house. So they're now the AA affiliate for the Red Sox. Makes a lot more sense geographically anyways. Jay Payton, season highlights. I think this is the only subset in the entirety of 97 Tops. There's Bonds, Nomo, Molitor with his 3,000th hit, and then Eddie Murray with his 500th home run. I vividly remember having the Murray and that Molitor that we just saw there. That was part of the very few of these cards I had many, many years ago. Kevin Seitzer. Gotta make sure not to miss anything because of the stickiness. Andrew Jones, Phil Nevin, Oogie Urbina, Todd Zeal on the Orioles. Another one that I didn't remember. Jose Rosado. Some guys have names that are really fun to say. Eddie Murray. Chad Mottola, another notorious bust. along with Chad Curtis there. And then Curtis Pride. What's going on here? Curtis Pride, not a bust, but Chad Curtis, then Curtis Pride. And I'm pretty sure these are not in numerical order. Almost skipped over Devon White because I was in a rush to get to the Ken Griffey Jr. So, nice little ad there for the Griffey collection. That continues to slowly grow. There's Bagwell and Messina back-to-back, followed by Sosa. And then an early Levon Hernandez. I think his rookie was 96, I believe. I could be wrong. Somebody let me know in the comments. As you can see, we're getting closer and closer to the end of this. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it, even though I'm struggling through it. There was a pudge there. If you are, make sure you hit that thumbs up. And of course, subscribe to the channel. There's Man Ram, Terry Pendleton. Like I said, baseball break next week, and then after that, probably be back with more baseball in some form or fashion. There is Nomo and Dante Bichette, Bo's Big Daddy. Kareem Garcia, speaking of prospect flameouts, Vladimir Guerrero and Tony Gwynn. Nomar Garcia Parra. We've reached the G section of the box apparently. Chipper Jones. Dustin Hermanson, for some reason, is flipped around totally backwards. Maybe that's a short print. JK. An early Bartolo Colon, Bob Abreu, Kurt Schilling, who I've given up all hope on him getting into the Hall of Fame, because he is just a terrible person at this point. I don't see how anybody can really defend him anymore. If I'm not defending him anymore, I don't think anybody else really can. Kurt Manwaring on Houston looks kind of funky. Todd Walker. Tim have too much carbon, so he's a belcher. Maybe that's why I dropped him on the table. He belched in my hand and scared me. There's a Mo Vaughn. Carlos Baerga on the Mets. There's a bunch of guys. I don't not remember them playing for some of the teams that they are pictured on in here. There's an early Giambi. Tim Naring manning the hot corner for Boston. Sandberg. Luis Gonzalez before his Diamondbacks days. And then Bernie, Russ Davis. I remember my cousin was an enormous Russ Davis fan back at this point. Obviously didn't turn out to be what people thought he could be. There is Carlos Delgado, Johnny Damon. So lots of good names in here. And of course, tons of Hall of Famers. These ones are... what is going on with these? I guess it's all a matter of figuring out which side to pull them apart by. And Brady Anderson. Who's our final one? Gotta make everything difficult. I didn't even bother to really see who that was because of the glare. So, a couple more handfuls here, and then that will be it on 97 Topps. There's JT Snow. I figured this was going to be the best way for us to check out any of this product, and for 20 bucks, I mean, that was a hell of a deal, especially considering that they're stuck together, but there's no damage really to anything. So no complaints on my end whatsoever. There is Pedro, pre-Pavano trade Pedro, Tom Glavine. Lots of nasty pitchers at this point. There's the previously mentioned Gary Sheffield and John Wetland, part of the all-prison team. Speaking of nasty pitching, John Smoltz, Mike Timlin, pre-Sox, Mike Stanley on the Sox, Jose Valentin, post-Sox. No, just kidding. That's actually John Valentin, not Jose. Scott Stahoviak, that was always a fun name to say. And William Van Landingham, whose name barely, as another plane goes by, barely fits on the card. There was a Ricky. Yeah, the airport is literally less than like 3 miles away from the house as well, so Especially during the summertime, they're more noticeable, or the springtime, because usually I have the windows open, and if you guys are hearing it, this is me with the windows closed. This one's moving around in the back, so let's get rid of that. There's Jim Edmonds, Ken Hill. I grew up with it, so something that I'm totally used to, but I have friends that have lived more in like the country-ish part. There's Boggs, and then moved to this area, actually just a couple streets down, and could not get used to the sound of the planes for some reason. It's no big deal, bro. I've heard it forever. Rusty Greer, Marquise Grissom. Friggin' Atlanta was still stacked at this point. Damn. Kevin Apier, Jimmy Key. Again, so many, like, those guys might not have been, like, amazing pitchers, but they were at least decent. Trevor Hoffman, speaking of amazing pitchers. An amazing closer, anyways. Derek Bell. And Ozzie Ian, the last one there. So, last little stack here. I feel like I did pretty good time-wise. Looks like all those inserts will be at the very back, just as I suspected. So the best stuff will be last. There is Mike Bordick, home state hero. Jason Kendall, Gold Cup. Jeff King, back-to-back Buccos. The Big Cat there. Brett Boone on the Reds. There is Alomar. And then Derek Jeter, Gold Cup. That's definitely a really nice one there. Probably not super valuable, but Jeter Gold Cup. Can't complain about that. Even though his rookie card was 4 years previous. Got FP Santangelo, some more prospects here. Aaron Boone, definitely recognize him. Ben Davis sounds kind of familiar. Bubba Trammell on that one. Glendon Rush, I remember kind of. Or at least the name. Who else? Mike Cameron. I don't think that's actually Mike Cameron's rookie. Sean Casey on that one. We almost skipped another. Anybody here? Not really. Some more Diamondbacks, who almost none of these guys for Diamondbacks. The Devil Rays did I recognize. That was Jason Marquis. Draft picks. Nobody there. Gil Mesh, I kind of remember. Eric Milton sounds familiar. Chris Rietzma, a couple of Red Sox draft picks. I can tell you neither one of those guys worked out. And then Diamondbacks. Yeah, none of those guys I really recall. Alright, here is this just a base? Because there's more base behind it. Must be. Jackie Robinson, number 42 in the set. And Troy O'Leary. So a few more base before we hit those inserts. Again, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this set break. We'll have one more baseball set break in the coming weeks, but just not next week. And it will be a much smaller one as well. More season highlights. Al Leiter, John Mabry, Ochoa. There is Piazza. Really stuck to Jeff D'Amico. Jay Buhner. Ron Coomer. There is Edgar. Jose Mesa. I think he had a couple of good years. Paul O'Neill. Tony Phillips on the White Sox is another weird one. And then Scott Rowland, one of the more recent Hall of Famers. David Wells on the O's is strange. Omar Vizquel, who had a very outside shot of possibly getting in, but he definitely has no shot of getting in at this point. Looks like we got something. There might be a finest in here, something with some plastic still on it, which at this time usually makes me think of Topps Finest, but it is. Interleague matchup. Mark McGuire. That's a pretty cool one. And then Barry Bonds on the back. So very nice. Bonds versus McGuire is the first of our inserts. And we've got All-Stars, Albert Bell. Some nice kind of rainbow hollow-ish foil on that one. Somebody really stuck to the back of him. Another All-Stars, Barry Larkin. So those are pretty cool. One for the Hall of Fame pile. And then Willie Mays reprints, which I spoke about at the beginning of the video. Let's see. Got another Willie Mays reprint. Are these all going to be Willie Mays? Indeed, they are. So all Willie Mays to finish off this set break of 1997 Topps. Again, hopefully you guys enjoyed watching me struggle through it, but I guess it wasn't as bad of a struggle as it could have been. It was definitely stuck together, so we had to go one by one, but really no damage to anything at all. So for 20 bucks, no complaints whatsoever. But again, baseball break coming up next week because we've had such a long run of it, so you guys got that to look forward to. And check out all the other cool stuff. Wow, I can't even talk now. Cool stuff going on the channel at the same time. So yeah, that's it. Before I keep stumbling over my words, I will say good night, guys. Have a good one.